Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you are doing good. From the additional sample question paper issued by CBSE for the session 23-24, we have covered the questions from the section A, B as well as C. Now it's time to solve the questions from the section D and E. So without further delay, let's get started. Alright then, we are gonna read the first question from the section D. It is based on CSV file. There is a CSV file name record. It is already created with this content. Now we are gonna write one function max salary. What this function will be doing? It will read all the records from this file. And we need to display the rows where the salary is maximum. If we consider same data, we will be getting this row because Pijesh has maximum salary. Let's understand the concept. I hope you know the steps to read data from the CSV file. To work with CSV files, we need to import CSV module, but that we can skip as we are writing user defined function. In the next step, we will be opening the CSV file in the read mode. Followed by that step, we will be creating one reader object. With the reader object, we got the data that we will be processing according to the instructions. Finally, we will close the file. Now let's try to understand what's the criteria. We got the data into reader object that we will be processing row by row. We are interested into the column salary, which is at the index 3. We need to find out the maximum salary among all salaries. Now how we will get that maximum salary? Suppose these are the given salaries. We will take one variable to find out the maximum of these salaries, which will be initialized to 0 in the beginning. While scanning the file content row by row, we will compare max variable with this column. If this salary is more than 0, that salary will be assigned to the max variable. In the same way, we will be comparing the first value to the second value. If second value is greater than the first value, the second value will be maximum. We will be repeating this process for all the rows. Finally, we will get the maximum salary in the max variable. And we are interested into that record. Now look at the code. Using for loop, we are iterating over each row. If integer of row 3 is greater than maximum, initially max is 0 and row 3 means we are accessing the salary column and changing into integer because by default it will be string. In the first pass we are getting value 65,400 and yes, it is greater than max. So that value will get assigned to the max, means now max is 65,400. As we have to print that whole row, we will be assigning that row to one variable named record. So this process will go on till end of the file. In the second pass, the value of the salary is 60,000. Let's compare whether it is greater than max or not. Now the max value is 65,400. No, it is not greater than that. Then it will move ahead to the next record. Means in the third pass, the value of salary is 45,300. Is it greater than 65,400? No. So after executing the for loop, we got the whole row with the maximum salary that we are going to print. We know the last step is to close the file. While writing this code, we need to take care of one more thing. As you can see, this CSV file contains column header. When we apply for loop and access the content of the file row by row, header also will get traversed. And to get the required output, we are applying int function on this column. These are all numbers, that's why it will get converted to integer value. But what about salary? Salary is a string. It will not get converted using int function. So it will display error. That's why to rectify this problem, we will be using next function so that the file pointer will move to the next record. As we don't want headers, we want to work on the actual file content. Finally, when we will print that record, we will be getting this output, row with the highest salary. Are we ready to write the same code in the ID? No, right? We don't have CSV file. To write content to the text file, we copied the data from the question paper and pasted in the notepad. Similarly, for the CSV file, you can copy the content and paste it in the Excel. After that, we will be saving the file. Make sure the folder should be same for both Python script and the CSV file. Specify the name according to the question, that is record, and type should be CSV, delimited. The first step is to import CSV module. The name of the user defined function is not mentioned, so we can give according to us. Now we need to open the file. For that we will be using open function. The name of the file is record.csv and the mode will be R mode. The next step is to create reader object. For that we will be using reader function of the CSV module and the name of the file pointer. To execute this function, we will be calling it. Can we print this reader variable and check that whether the file content is getting read or not? But when we look at the output, we could see that it is an object. We cannot write the content in this way. For that we need to iterate over it. For row in reader, and then row by row we will be printing the data. Let's run and check. It is clear now that we could read the file content. We can see in this CSV file there is a header, but we are not interested into the header. For that we will be using next reader. So the file pointer will move to the next record. Now if you will display the records, you can see here the header is not getting printed. Let's work on the criteria. We need to print the row with the maximum salary. For that we have initialized one variable with 0 and we will keep on checking each record. Let's apply the condition with if statement. Look at the file content, everything is in the string and we have to work with the numbers. So we will be converting it to the integer. That's why apply the integer function. On what we are applying integer function? On the salary. So salary is at the index 3. So we will be writing row of 3. In this way string value got converted to integer. Now let's compare it with the max. If the salary mentioned here is greater than the variable max, then that will be maximum. In this way it will replace the max variable, that is integer row of 3. We are getting that salary at the index 3 and we need that whole row with the maximum salary. So we will be storing it into one variable named rake. Finally we will be printing the whole row with the highest salary, and we are getting that in a variable rake. Don't forget to close the connection with the close function. Let's run and check out the output. Hooray, we are getting the required output. We got the row with the maximum salary. 65,400 is the maximum salary among 3. Hope you understood this code. Let's move ahead to the next question. This question is based on the binary file. There is one inventory.dat binary file which stores information in the form of tuple. First is product ID, product name, quantity and price. We need to write one function named expensive products to read the content of the inventory.dat file. Then after reading the file, we will be displaying the details of the product with the price higher than 1000. Continue the question. Additionally calculate and display the total count of such expensive product. Let's go through the given example. Here are the tuples which are in the binary file. So this user defined function will be printing the product ID who satisfies the criteria, means whose price is greater than 1000. So there are two products, one with 5000 and one with 2000. Along with printing we need to count them. There are two products, so total expensive products will be 2. Let's try to understand the concept. We are working with binary file, so we need to import pickle module. The first step always to open the file. We are reading the file, so we are opening it into RB mode. We will be using load function of the pickle module to read the content of the binary file. So in this way we got the data. Now let's apply the criteria. Look at the tuple which are stored in the binary file. We are interested into the element that is price, which is at the index 3. So in this way we will be writing the condition if data of 3 is greater than 1000, and for such tuple we will be printing product ID which is at the index 0. Alright, the printing part is over. What is left now? We have to count those products. For counting we have initialized one variable count 0, and when the criteria will get satisfied we will increment it by 1. And at last we will be printing the count of the expensive products. In case of binary file, we use infinite while loop to load the data. But what if when the data gets over and there is nothing to load? It will display error. To manage this error, we will be using try except block. That's why this whole code is in the try block. Try block will manage the error when there is no data to load. It will close the file. It's time to code. We need to read the content from the binary file. So binary file must exist. Like text file and CSV file, we cannot directly copy the content to the binary file because we know binary file content is not in the human readable form. That's why to execute the code, we must write a program to write the content in the binary file. So here is a small program with the help of which we are writing data to the binary file. But you don't have to write that. Let's run this program once and write the content to the file. Now I will add comment to it as already content is stored in the binary file. Now let's check out the required user defined function. The name is mentioned as expensive products. First of all, we need to open the required binary file. The name is inventory.dat and we will be opening it in a RB mode as it is a binary file. We use infinite while loop to load the content. So while true. Let's take one variable to load the file content. We will be using load function of the pickle module. The name of the file pointer is fp. Let's print and check out the data. From the output it is clear that we could read the content of the file, but along with that we are getting the error. That's why we should keep this code in the try except block. So let's do it. Here we will be writing try block and in the except block we will be closing the file, means when we will get the error. Now let's run and check it once again. Hooray, there is no error. We could read the file content properly. It's time to work out on the criteria. If price we will be getting at the index 3, it means data of 3 is greater than 1000, then we need to print the product ID of those records. Let's use print statement and print the product ID. In the tuple we could see that product ID is at the index 0. For that we will be writing data of 0. Let's run and check this partial program. Wow, we are getting the required product IDs. Now it's time to count. For that generally we use one variable count which will be initialized to 0. And when condition satisfies, then we will be incrementing it by 1. And finally we will be printing the count. So here is the statement for the same. Let's check the final output. We got the required output. We are printing the IDs and we are counting it. Hope you understood this code too. With that we completed the section D. Now it's time to move ahead to the section E. Here is the question number 33. It is based on networking concepts. This question seems big but it is very easy to cover those 5 marks. Before attempting it, read it carefully. From the picture it is clear that head office is in Delhi and in Mumbai there are 4 blocks: admin, food, media and decorators. Now let's move ahead and check the remaining question. Here is the distance between the different blocks and in the next table we have number of computers in the blocks. Time to check out the first question. Suggest most appropriate location of the server inside the Mumbai campus. Along with that we have to justify answer. Here are the 4 blocks in the Mumbai location. From this table it is clear that admin block has maximum number of computers. So the admin block will act as a server. The second question is we need to draw cable layout to connect various buildings within Mumbai campus. Let's move ahead to the marking scheme. We have already discussed this type of questions. When we want to suggest cable layout, we can suggest any of these two. The first is star topology, which depends on the server location, and the second one is bus topology, which depends on the minimum distance between the blocks. When we want to suggest star topology, we just look at the server. We will be connecting other blocks to that block. And in case of bus topology, we need to take care of the distance between the blocks. I will suggest to go ahead with star topology because there is no doubt, no confusion in that. But you can choose any one, whichever you feel easy. Let's move ahead to the third question. Which hardware device will you suggest to connect all the computers within each block? And for that we use switch. What's the next question? Which of the following will you suggest to establish online face-to-face communication between people in the admin office in the Mumbai campus and the Delhi head office? We know for face-to-face communication we will be using video conferencing. What's the last question? What type of network out of PAN, LAN, MAN and WAN will be set up in each of the following cases? What's the first case? The Mumbai campus gets connected with the headquarters in Delhi. Mumbai and Delhi are different cities. So for that we will be using WAN. And the second case is the computers connected in the Mumbai campus. For that we will be using MAN. It is within the city. Alright, let's proceed and check the next question. There are two subparts. The first is we need to mention the difference between seek and tell function. Let's read the answer from the marking scheme. The purpose of seek is to reposition the final pointer to the specific location. It is used to change the position of the file pointer. What about tell? It returns the current position of the file pointer. It will tell where the pointer is. When we talk about the syntax, here is the syntax of the seek function. First parameter is offset and the second parameter is reference point. But in case of tell function, it doesn't take any argument. Here is the description of the parameter. It requires offset and it is the optional part, that is a reference point. And tell function doesn't require any parameter. You can write any two differences. It's time to check out the subpart of the 34th question. It is based on binary file. There is a flight.dat binary file which has the record in this format. Now we will be writing a function copy record, which copies all those records from this binary file where source is Delhi and the destination is Mumbai. Those records we need to copy it in a new record.dat file. Before writing the code, first try to understand the concept. There are two binary files. We are reading the flight.dat binary file and copying the data from flight to the record. While copying, we have some criteria. What's the criteria? Source should be Delhi and the destination should be Mumbai. Look at the data of the flight file. Source is at the index 3 and the destination is at the index 4. Alright then, let's try to understand the code. We are opening the flight file in the RB mode and record file in the WB mode. Now we are clear with the usage of try and except block. In the infinite while loop, we are using load function to load the content of the flight that we are getting into variable data. Now we need selected record that we will be taking with the criteria. What is the criteria? Source should be Delhi. That's why we have written like this. Data of 3 will be Delhi. And along with that, the second condition is destination should be Mumbai. For that, we have written data of 4 is equals to Mumbai. If the condition gets satisfies, those records we will be dumping to the record file. In this way, the required records will get written into the record file. Finally, we will be closing it into the except block. Okay, then do you want me to execute this code in the IDE too? If you have understood that explanation, you can skip this part. To read the content from the binary file, we should have data into the binary file. So with this code, we have the content in the flight.dat file that we will be reading. So let's write the required code now. According to the instructions, we have created the user defined function. We are opening the flight.dat binary file in the RB mode and opening record.dat file in the WB mode. You know the importance of try except block. Now using while loop, we will be loading the content from the flight file. Let's take one variable to load the content from the flight binary file. For that we will be using load function from the pickle module. So pickle.load and the name of the file pointer is fpin. This is the input file for us. To make sure you are able to read the content of the file, you can print and check it. Okay, here is some sample data in the flight file. Now let's write the criteria. If data of 3 is equals to Delhi and the second criteria is destination should be Mumbai, which is at the index 4. So let's write the string Mumbai. If the row satisfies this criteria, that row will get dumped into the record file. First we need to mention the variable followed by the file pointer. The file pointer for the record file is fpout. If you want to make sure that code is correct, we can print one message. Now let's run and check the output. This message is getting printed twice because there are two records which satisfies this criteria, where source is Delhi and the destination is Mumbai. Hope you understood this code too. We can see there is a OR part for the 34th question. Let's check out the first sub part of that. Mention any two difference between binary file and the CSV file. Moving to the marking scheme. Here are the differences. For binary file we use pickle module and for CSV file we use CSV module. In binary file, data is stored in the form of zeros and ones, which is not in the human readable form, and that we cannot use any text editor to read it. In case of CSV file, data can be stored in the tabular fashion or comma separated by default. The file can be opened in the spreadsheet software like Excel, or we can use text editor like Notepad. Here are some of the extensions for the binary file, and for CSV file we use .csv extension. Time to move ahead to the next question. This question is also based on the binary file. You could see there are many questions based on files. So your concept of file should be clear. There is a binary file named book which has element in the form of dictionary. Here is the book name and the values also is a list where B name, B type and price is mentioned. Moving ahead, let's check out the question. We need to write user defined function. The name is find book. It takes a parameter as price. Now we have to display all those records from the binary file which has a book price more than or equal to price value passed as a parameter. Let's try to understand the concept. Suppose we have two books in the library. I will be passing some price to this user defined function, and we need to display those books which has price more than this sent parameter. That's why look at the output. Here is the price of the book is 300, which is greater than the pass parameter. It means greater than or equals to 200. Now let's check the code. Here is the required user defined function which is taking a parameter price. The first step is to open the file in the read mode. We are using try except block as usual, and using while loop we will be loading the content from the binary file that we are getting in a data variable. The content of the file is in the form of dictionary, so we have to iterate over the key and values. For that we will be using items function of the dictionary. Look at the key value pair of the dictionary. Here is the key, and in the form of value we have one list. In that list the price is at the index 2. To make it easy, we have stored that price in one variable named book price. Now let's compare the price which will be sending into the variable price and the price of the book in the dictionary. If the book price which is in the dictionary is greater than or equal to the past price, then we will be printing the key and value for that book. In this way we will be getting this required output. You are absolutely correct. To execute this code in the IDE, first we should write the code to write the content to the binary file. So here is the code. Let's run and check whether it is getting executed or not. We are not getting any error, means data got stored. Now let's comment it. We will be not executing this code again. We have already solved many questions on the binary file. Now you know the structure of the program. With the load function, we have got the data into the data variable. If you want to make sure that file is getting read or not properly, call this function and print and check the data. Look at the output. The file content is getting read. Now it's time to iterate over the data which is in the form of dictionary, and we need both key and value. That's why we will be using key comma value. In the name of the variable is data, where we are getting the content in the dictionary format. We will be using item functions of the dictionary. Now let's take that variable to store the price of the book in the dictionary, which is at the index 2 in the value. It's time to write the condition. If book price is greater than or equal to the price which we have sent through the parameter, in that case we will be printing that book. So print key comma value. So here is the output. We sent 200 and the book price of Python is 300, which is greater than equal to 200. That's why we are getting this record. But in case of MySQL, it is not greater than 200 what we have sent through parameter. That's why MySQL is not getting printed. In this question, there is no example to understand the concept. So read the question carefully and write the exact code. We are proceeding to the 35th question. Define the term constraint. A simple definition of constraint means it is a rule that we will be applying on the data which we stored in the table. But why we apply any rule? To limit the type of data that will be storing into the table. Here are some of the constraints: primary key constraint, unique constraint and not null constraint. When we apply primary key constraint, it doesn't allow duplicates, even it doesn't allow null values. Let's read the sub part of the same question. Read question carefully. This is based on connectivity. First question, complete statement number 1 to establish the connection with the database. Host is mentioned, user is mentioned, but password is missing. According to the instruction, the password is tiger. So in the statement 1, we need to write tiger. Moving ahead to the next question. Write statement 2 to create cursor object. To write cursor object, we use cursor function which works with the connection. Connection name is con1. So we will be writing con1 dot cursor. It's so simple. You will be generally getting one question for 4 marks like this, and it is very easy to cover those marks. Let's check out the next statement. It is used to remove the records from the table item based on the item name entered by the user. When we look at the statement 3, it's a complete query we need to design. And to remove record, we will be using delete command. So here is the query, delete from item. Now let's write the condition with the where clause. INAME should be equal to this item name what we will be providing. So here is the placeholder for that, and using format function we are providing the item name. When we initialize query to a variable, I will suggest to write the query in triple single quotes. And one more thing we should keep in mind, when this parameter is of string type, we write this placeholder in a single quote. So follow this format. Enclose the whole string of the query in a triple single quote and write the placeholder in a single quote if it is a string. Time to read the last question. Complete the statement 4 to save the changes in the table. To save the changes permanently in the table, we use commit function. In this way, we completed all these 4 questions. There is a OR part 2. So let's check out. Write one difference between alternate key and candidate key. We have already studied that candidate key is single column or multiple columns which can be primary keys, means which has features to become a primary key. Then what about alternate key? There are many candidate keys which can be a primary key, but only one column will be primary key. The rest of the columns are called as alternate key, which couldn't be a primary key. You can very well understand this concept with one simple example. Consider there is a election for the head girl or head boy. There will be many students which will be competing for this post, but you know only one of them can be elected for that post. So head boy or head girl is the primary key, and all the students, those who are competing, we will call them as candidate key. And those students who are not elected as a head boy or head girl, those can be called as a alternate key. In the subpart of the OR section, we have one more question which is based on the connectivity. Read the question carefully. What's the first question? Complete line 1 to import appropriate module. For connectivity, we import mysql.connector. What's the second question? Complete line 2 to create cursor object. Just now we saw how to create cursor object. We use connection object, that is con1. Con1 dot cursor function we will be using to create cursor object. What's the next question? Complete the query. Look at the line 3. Here is the query. Select star from items where price is greater than. This is placeholder, and the price is more than 5,000. So in the format function we will be providing that quantity. It was so simple. Let's check out the last question. Complete line 4 to extract all the records. Look at the line 4. Data equals to my cursor dot. To fetch records, we have three functions: fetch one, fetch many, and fetch all. As we have to extract all the records, we will be using function fetch all. So this is the correct answer. In this way, we completed section D and E. Now with that, we have the solution for both the sample papers which are issued by the CBSE for the session 23-24. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Let me know in the comments below what we will be covering in the next video. Until next time, keep studying, stay confident. I will see you in the next video.